They should actually look into this, offering foreign companies a way of getting preferred energy rates or tax exemptions for HPC data centers or Bitcoin mining, because in the future, in the end, HPC, AI, or whatever that you want to call it, will be the future. Compute power is energy, and who owns the energy controls whatever it is, state or the world.
Welcome to Bitcoin Basics with your hosts Faris and Gordon. Visit bitcoinbasics.help if you need help buying and securing your Bitcoin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bitcoin Basics podcast. The price of Bitcoin is sitting at $69,630. What am I looking for here, Gordon? I am looking for
price of peanut butter.
Price of peanut butter. Oh, man. I'm looking for the block height. It's been a while since I've looked at the Clock Community dashboard and I cannot find it. Where are we? Can you say something interesting until I find this?
Well, if you take the price of peanut butter and divide it by the average age of what? No, I can't.
Here it is. Sorry, everyone. The block height is 847,274. All right, Gordon. So we just interviewed Sebastian Vollm. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Sorry, Sebastian, if I haven't, but this kind of caught me by surprise, actually. It was quite a fun interview.
It was, because Paraguay is not on our radar, and it hasn't ever been on radar, I don't think, for me, in terms of Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining and adoption. So we don't just talk about Bitcoin mining. I find it fascinating to hear what's actually happening from someone who is boots on the ground. So they're not giving us, they're giving us a raw perspective. So yeah, fascinating interview, really nice guy. And what do you think, Faris?
Yeah, so when I say it caught me by surprise, it's because Paraguay's not been on our radar. And Sebastian just reached out to me on LinkedIn and basically said, "Are you guys still recording?" Because we did go through a bit of a hiatus up until a couple months ago. And I kind of, chatted a little bit, and I saw he was doing some projects in Paraguay, and I thought it seems interesting. But yeah, the amount of stuff going on in Paraguay is what caught us by surprise. And this was quite an enjoyable and refreshing one, actually.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, like, and share so we can find others like yourself.
All right, Sebastian, thank you very much for joining us. So, Sebastian, you reached out to me on LinkedIn, and you were one of the few people who said, how come you guys aren't uploading any podcasts? Because we took a bit of a hiatus. So it was nice to know that someone out there was paying attention. So thank you for that. Now, you've got quite a fascinating background from what I can see so far, because are you German originally or Austrian?
Yeah, exactly. Hey guys, pleasure to be on here. I'm from Germany. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, you're from Germany. I received a message in French, but you're currently based in Paraguay.
That's correct. So I'm based in Asunción, the capital of Paraguay. Very weird what happened to the LinkedIn French message, because I'm nowhere near to be French fluent.
Well, I speak French, so maybe somehow Microsoft knows. That's something else we know. But how did you end up in Paraguay? How have you been there? To tell us a little bit about yourself and your Bitcoin origin story.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So a little background about myself. I'm Sebastian Vollm. I'm 27 currently. I've been working in Germany all the time as a mechanical engineer. And back in 2013, I started buying my first Bitcoin. The website was called bitcoin.com.de, a German website. I started the endeavors back then, where I think the price was around $200 for a coin. Pretty early. And like most of us, I sold it very early also, like at $1,500. Sold my Bitcoin back then, and completely off the radar for 3 years, right, Faris? But 2021, 22, a friend of me approached me and he mentioned Paraguay, So I got back onto my radar and I did some research about the country. And I found out that thanks to the surplus of renewable energy and pretty competitive prices, it's a risk to you can afford to take. So I quit my job, I packed my bags, and came straight to Paraguay with the mission to Bitcoin mining here and Bitcoin mining hosting, right?
Sorry, what year was this that you went to Paraguay?
Yes, 2022 in September, I packed all my bags, took all I had left, and went straight to Paraguay. You
Well,
might think
had
that's an
you?
unconventional.
Hey, we're involved in a cryptocurrency that was created by someone we don't know. Everything's unconventional here. Um,
Completely.
so had you been there before?
No, not at all. So the initial plan was to get the residency program here, check it out, and then maybe go back and see where the journey takes me. But I got very lucky and fortunate to meet some very big people here in Paraguay. They've been my neighbors, and they got me into this industry. Step by step, learning about the country, the politics, what you have to do, what you should not do. So yeah, that's where we're at now.
Wow.
Man.
I find it fascinating for people's origins. And I just want to go back a little bit before we get into mining in Paraguay. What was your Bitcoin journey like? Was it like, for me, it was a gradual sort of step, but what was your light bulb sort of aha moment for Bitcoin?
For the aha moment, that's a great question. I think when I was younger, browsing the dark web a bit and finding about the opportunities and things you can do there. And then I found out Bitcoin is very easy to do transaction. It's not particularly traceable. And it sparked my interest, because you can pay people abroad. You have a very stable ecosystem behind it. And back then it wasn't very new. So I bought my first coins, did some trading. And it was really how I got started, yeah.
Straight into Bitcoin, or was it via shitcoin of the day, or what was that journey?
No, actually not no shitcoins at all. This website bitcoin.com.de at this time was the biggest marketplace exchange for Germans, and like in the Dach region. So I think I saw an announcement somewhere on Facebook. Cannot remember, very very long ago. So I just bought Bitcoin and kept it there, straight.
Sorry, you just kind of glossed over, I was browsing in the dark web. Is that something we should explore, or should we just keep glossing over that? Because that's not something I hear just in passing. I was just cruising through the dark web.
No, you know how it is. People tell you about a new technology or something you can browse through, and you know what's in the dark web, right? So when you're younger, it sparks your interest.
No, I don't. Anyone listening, I have no idea what's in the dark web.
Well, we better keep it like that then. There's various things you don't find on a normal web, But not obviously nothing against the law.
Were you fascinated with Bitcoin because you mentioned you're a mechanical engineer?
Yes, I graduated 2021. I've been working in the robotics and engineering space for 3 companies in Germany. And, the thing in Germany is you have a very high tax rate additionally, right? Let's dive in back there. So you get taxed 50% or more on your income. And I was not very fan of that, I don't like governments very much. So I was thought about the way, how can I make more out of my time and earn more money instead of working 8 hours for someone else? This is a little bit the thought process going into that, And then Bitcoin gives you the ability, right? For example, in Germany, if you hold your coins for more than 1 year, you are tax-free of that, tax exempt. So this is really how the first thoughts got started. And then Paraguay came onto my radar, yeah.
Okay, so with your appreciation of Bitcoin, was it the blockchain technology? Was it the non-fiat form of currency? Well, give us a little bit more about that, because most of us takes us a while to unpack the various attributes of Bitcoin.
Well, I'm not a very tech nerd guy, I'm not a guy that can code you a token, but I really thought it interesting the possibility of sending funds from here to, let's say, South America without having a bank in between, right? Where you always have to wait certain days, you need to have a certain requirement. So this blockchain technology really was very interesting to develop that, I hope that could clear it up.
It was probably the lack of third party. Was that the sort of the more interesting thing about Bitcoin?
The lack of what? Sorry?
A lack of a third party, like it's a trustless system, peer-to-peer.
It's a peer-to-peer trustless system. It's very secure, thanks to the miners securing the network. You have no government interference. And I think that's still great, as you see in the recent moment and months of development, what happened in the world. Governments are not always have the best interest for you, right? So that's our way to free them. And
so what is the state of Bitcoin in Germany? How is it perceived by the general public?
There's a very strong ecosystem, actually. There are certain persons that got to the Bundestag and the high-level politicians discussing about the payment exception, their involvement in supermarkets. So the ecosystem is quite strong there. And back in the day, Germany was also a very big miner. You would not think that, but a very big percentage of the hash rate came actually from there. So you can say there's some fanatics. Certain people are involved with banks and with private companies, but yeah, I think it's a very strong ecosystem.
So you mentioned that you don't pay taxes if you hold your coins for a year. What kind of tax is it? A capital gains tax?
Yeah, the capital gains tax.
Okay.
I think that's 25%, if I'm not mistaken, roundabout.
Okay. So it's a decent ecosystem in Germany. It's not like exchanges aren't being shut down or banned or sought after.
No. You're not sought after there.
Okay.
If you hold your coins for a year, that's good. They also have some taxes and regulation and laws based on that. So I think that's why more and more projects are coming out from this region, and a lot of investment coming specifically from Switzerland, from Germany, Luxembourg, all those regions. They started to wake up, and I think that's great. Great for everyone.
We get headlines here. We don't know what it's like to actually be there, but because Germany shut down, it wasn't the nuclear power plants. Well, which plants did they shut down? What ended up having an energy problem?
Well, all of them. They shut all nuclear plants down.
So it was
to
nuclear.
be more green. Yeah, all of them. And well, it's a good first mover, if you wanna be more renewable, more green. But what end up happening is the energy prices skyrocketed, disturbing a bit the economy and the growth of it. And now they're purchasing nuclear power from France. So it complete nonsense if you ask me. But I'm not a politician. I'm just a businessman.
No, it's all right. So how did that affect Bitcoin mining in Germany when that happened?
Well, I think the people right now are repurposing their miners through like heating systems. They place a small rack, a small heating system where they place 4 or 5 machines, heat their homes in the winter or their water in the summer, and repurposing that to pay their electricity bill, water bill, and maybe even make a profit.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always been fascinated by that. Is that just DIY, people doing that themselves, or do you know of actual any sort of commercial products, Bitcoin heaters and that kind of thing?
I think there's a solid company they call 21 Energy. I've met with them last year in BTC Prague. They will be this year attending too. They're really producing a commercial product right now for anyone to be able to afford. It's a very spacious heater. I've not personally owned myself one because in Paraguay it's always hot. But that's the one I have in mind. Yeah.
All right. So tell us about landing in Paraguay. What were your expectations? What was it like?
Curious, no? Well, my first journey in Latin America started in Mexico. Just having vacations there, realizing, hey, great people, very loving, careful, and that's really how I also started to love with Spanish and the culture. And back then, a friend of mine who did some real estate projects here mentioned Paraguay. Low taxes, big economic growth, very stable government and currency. And then I digged a bit deeper, and really found the surplus of renewable energy here as a big bonus. There's the Itaipu Dam, which is located between the Brazilian and the Paraguayan border, which at top capacity can produce up till 14 gigawatts. That's 14,000 megawatts. And this is a big surplus, and thanks to the miners right now, the government can resell this energy instead of for a higher price, obviously, than to sell it to Brazil, or it just gets lost in the grid.
Yeah. So is that the significant amount of power in Paraguay? Hydro?
All of it, 100%.
100%.
The whole
is
energy.
hydro.
It has actually the biggest or the second biggest dam in the world, if you compare it with the Three Gorges Dam in China. But they are very dependent on the weather there, to have more energy output. And here it's very consistent. They have 14,000 megawatts. Out of these 14,000 megawatts, the whole country at top peak hours uses only about 2,800, maybe 3,000 in the summer. And the rest gets sold to Brazil, But there's still a big chunk of energy blocks that miners are currently using here.
So these miners,
Wow.
Are they all private? Is there any state-owned mining activity happening?
No, not yet. They are not allowed for state-owned. Actually, you have private companies. You have more and more public companies from Canada and America coming. There is, I think, 3 public companies now, and I am able to to bring another one. So soon there will be 4 big publicly listed companies in Paraguay mining.
Wow. So is there public support for this? Because Paraguayans can see this as you're using our energy. What's the temperature, the mood towards these companies coming in and doing that?
I think they're big in favor. You have to. It's just a numbers game. What Paraguay is doing, they have a state-owned utility company, which is the ANDE, and they are allowed to sell in Paraguay. But all of the surplus from the Itaipu Dam used to get sold to Brazil for half the price that they sell to miners now. So if you think about it, it creates a big ecosystem here, growth for the economy, employment for technicians, electricians, construction workers, logistics. You have customs agents. It creates a whole ecosystem here, and it helps the economy to grow further. So I think they're pretty positive on that.
So there was something that came out in the news recently about illegal mining, and they want to crack down on that. What is illegal mining?
Well, there's various cases, I think, that you can read. People plugging in straight to the electrical grid and paying someone off in the utility company, maybe in the lower level. They find someone that wants to have a project with them. They offer them security for a certain time frame, and then it doesn't fulfill the project. It's very bad, because this sheds a light on Paraguay and the miners that are actually doing things the legal way. Of course, you have robbery all over the place. In Canada, I heard the same. In Venezuela.
So the definition of illegal mining is not like anyone can go ahead and buy a miner and just plug it in and pay their electricity fee. But the definition of illegal mining is someone who is avoiding paying the electricity costs. Is that right?
Not in particular. You have various tariffs in Paraguay for miners. It's a semi-regulated industry here. You don't have a law for now, but the state-owned utility provides tariffs, and those tariffs are for the crypto industry, for high consumage. So based on your voltage you are getting from the grid, you have a special kind of price. And to avoid that, people then use other kind of tariffs, for industrial or commercial buildings like shopping centers, where they actually save something. And that's what they call illegal miners, because they're not running as a registered miner.
So from the government's point of view, it's basically someone is not paying their taxes, not paying their dues, and that's affecting the rest of the industry. Is that a fair assessment of what's going on? Or
Yeah,
am I
you
completely
you
missing
could
it?
say something like
Okay.
this. No, you can say something. You still pay taxes based on your invoice from the state
Okay.
company, yeah, but the amount will be lower, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's corporate tax. It's what everyone has to pay everywhere. So that makes
Yeah,
sense. Okay.
10%
Yeah, because
VAT
yeah,
on top.
some of the articles I saw, they just didn't define what is illegal mining. So an illegal miner is just someone who is simply not paying their tariffs or yeah, being involved in an activity that is illegal anyways, regardless if it's Bitcoin or something else.
Yeah, or just straight plugging into the grid and not paying any tariff at all, you know, straight up stealing
Yeah.
electricity and paying someone off.
Okay.
But you know, it's not just in Paraguay that those cases are happening. You know, it's all around the globe where this is sometimes practiced, unfortunately.
Some would say that taxation is theft, but that's a whole nother argument. So
I would join you in that.
if I had a business and I have a business property, and let's say it's a factory or a shed, I'm going to pay a different rate based on whether I'm mining Bitcoin or I turn that into a cafe.
Exactly. So you have the household tariff, you have a commercial tariff for like shopping centers, you have an industrial one, which is for normal factory, right? Whatever they produce, and then you have the mining tariffs. This is very very standardized. And for
And
mining
that's
tariff, you
sorry, go.
no, and for the mining tariff, you have a contract with the state-owned utility company to really give you the security you need.
And that is more expensive than a normal retail price.
It is, it is, it
Okay.
is more
Are we
expensive.
talking
Yes.
double or 10% or what? What are we talking?
Not double, maybe 20 to 40% more. That's the thing. And then the company requires a deposit, you know, for those kind of tariffs. They require you to pay them a deposit for reserving the energy. And this is where most people just don't comply with it, you know.
So
They
the
want to make a quick
incentives.
buck fast. Yeah, they want to make a quick buck fast, but in the end you pay double. So
Okay.
we don't practice that. I don't recommend that to anyone.
How long has Bitcoin mining been active in Paraguay?
I think it
Like how long is
started
these
in
like when did these taxes come into place, do you know?
I started 2022, but I heard of friends that started I think 2018 roundabout, you know. They back then there to 2018, 2019, they already had a tariff for mining which was substantially lower. But then as bigger companies came in and required more blocks of energy, they adjusted those tariffs, you know. Now you have a tariff for if you build a substation or if you have a private line with a private feeder from a public substation, you know, you can vary here. Depends on the size, obviously.
And what's the overall geopolitical economic climate like in Paraguay at the moment? Because I know there's issues, you know, Argentina economically, there's a few issues in neighboring countries. What's it like there at the moment?
Well, stable. Since years, there's always, you could say, the same party-ish, you know. Here with the power, it's a Colorado, the right wing, you could say. They are focusing on their industry strengths they have of the country, you know, like exporting soja or meat, now energy. They're very stable, you know. Things don't change a lot here in Paraguay. They just run, they just work. You don't have a high inflation. You have a stable economic growth, I think, of 4 to 6%, even with COVID, where all the other countries around had like political instability, problems with the population. Paraguay is a good example of stability, and this dates back to the old times where they had a dictatorship. You know, they had a dictatorship for certain years, and this person called Alfredo Stroessner, he has some German ancestors. He's actually from there. So back then, even the country was flourishing, and this was supported by the U.S. The U.S. actually supported this dictator here back in the time, and they still support the local politicians. So they have a big stability because we're in the heart of America, right? we're really the heart with all these countries around us. So this gives stability. Yeah.
So you have a 100% hydro, fairly stable political economic climate.
Mm-hmm.
I assume you don't have hyperinflation like Argentina. Are we going to see a boom in Bitcoin mining in Paraguay? What do you think the future is?
I think so, but not just in mining. Paraguay is about to get the investment grade rating for international investments. So what we're seeing is a big growth in public buildings, roads, skyscrapers. More and more people coming to park and invest their money here. And so with Bitcoin mining, various big companies require 100 megawatts, 50, 200 megawatts, and they come and they really fuel this economic growth. So yeah, we're very optimistic about the future here.
So tell us what are you involved in at the moment? What projects, what companies are you working with for? Tell us about
Mm-hmm. Sure. So I have a own company which is called Digtal Orion. We are really focused on Bitcoin mining hosting. We build facilities and then we help international clients with supporting their journey. Also, we have a consultancy for bigger companies that want to come in here and get started for projects like 6 megawatts, 12, 50. That's actually what I'm working on right now. We could have secured a 100 megawatt contract with one of my business partners. And I think by the time this is publicly announced, I can disclose it, but at the moment, not. We have a 100 megawatt deal about to be closed with a publicly miner. So they will come in and they will provide a whole substation and then a warehouse for mining and also HPC data centers. That's what I'm working on right now.
And this is in Paraguay.
Yes, this is
Because you
Paraguay.
also have projects in Ethiopia as well. Is that right? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, we have a partner there in Ethiopia which takes care of the construction and the managing there. We don't own the facilities there in Ethiopia. It's a third service party, but in Paraguay, it's different. Yeah.
Okay, so like we've had people, other Bitcoin mining companies in the past, and the way they work is essentially you buy a miner through them, and they find where's the cheapest electricity going around, and they host it in that country. Obviously, Paraguay, you've got the incentive of green electricity there. So is that the same premise? Like, do you onboard individual investors, or are you just working with corporations?
Well, mostly we focus on corporations, because our projects range from 3 till 10 megawatts, and they like to take a big chunk, They like to take the whole facility for themselves. But obviously, individuals also are more than welcome to join us, if they're just getting started out or they have some miners that run in another country more expensive. They're more than welcome to come here and try Paraguay out, We can onboard them. We help them with sourcing the equipment and importing it here. And then they're provided technical support 24/7 by our head engineers.
And where does Digital Orion's revenue come from? Do you charge like an electricity fee? Do you get a percentage of the Satoshi rewards and transaction fees?
Mostly we charge electricity. This is very calculative and easy, And for the end client, it doesn't get too expensive because there's various deals. If you have a percentage, makes no sense sometimes for a client because they end up paying 9 cents, 10 cents on the dollar, and we don't want it. We want them to recover the investment as fast as possible.
Okay. So one thing doesn't make sense to me. You said it doesn't get cold in Paraguay. You're near the Andes. You're south of the Tropic of Capricorn. Is it just not cold compared to Berlin, or how does it not get cold there?
Well, currently we have winter, and I'm sitting here with shorts, at 30 degrees. Sun was shining.
30 degrees Celsius out there.
Yeah. We have some weeks in the year where it can drop to 10 degrees, You have some rain, but below 10 degrees, it doesn't drop normally. It's very mild winter for like certain weeks, and then the sun is shining again.
And when it's 10 degrees, you're still wearing shorts, right?
I try to, but you're acclimated, so sometimes you put on a cover to make sure.
Because I thought that would have been. Sorry, you go, Gord.
I want to know what a containerized supercomputer is, according to your website, and can it run Minecraft server?
Well, a containerized supercomputer is not for Bitcoin mining. It's specifically for HPC AI purposes. We have a strong partner in Dubai that creates those kind of projects for governments. And what they basically do, they have a container and they place NVIDIA H100 datasets or from ASUS, build out the whole layout, and then run AI models based on clients' needs, government needs. That's it. You don't need to build nowadays. You don't need to build a big warehouse and invest all of this money. You can just have a container which has these safety security certifications, saves you space and money.
Okay, so instead of just having, say, computational power as a service, you actually say you can have your own mini data center.
Yes, exactly. We can build based on requirements data center for HPC and also for Bitcoin mining. All depends what models or requirements someone has.
And do you think that will expand, like instead of maybe morphing into other kinds of computational services that you'd sell?
I think so. Paraguay is on the edge of growing their high fiber line, and with this, they can help all the countries in the region to access like cloud services or running computer models. So I think we're in a very good position. The president Santiago Pena went on a worldwide tour, pronouncing Paraguay GPT, for example. So that will be exciting.
Okay. Excellent. So I'm just looking at your website, Orion. Digtal Orion. Apologies if you've already said it, but are you the founder? Did you start this? How did that come to be?
Yeah, sure. I'm the founder of the company. We have a small team of some programmers. We have technicians, back office support here in Paraguay in the office. But when I started the company, I think January 2023, where we started out with 12 machines. I placed my first 12 machines at a friend's container. And from there, it really took off. By the end of the year, we had almost 12 megawatts running. And it was a great journey, And now this year, we're going to increase that again.
Awesome. How easy was it to get started, as a foreigner, to get up and running in terms of regulation and licenses and that kind of stuff?
Well, the good thing is if you speak the local language and are smart to identify who to work with and who not to, I think that gives you a good benefit, a good advantage. Obviously, you will have some situations where people try to take advantage of you based of being a foreigner. Yeah. But I always advise to be careful to have a good local person here that you can trust, that you prove, and that someone else can vouch for him. And then we can make it too, It's not impossible. But you should learn Spanish.
Yeah, that's right. I thought the local language is whatever the local currency is. Isn't that how it works?
Guarani, you mean? Well, there's Guarani and Spanish, right? The Guarani is mostly spoken from elderly people or in rural, not in rural regions, but more in indigenous regions. But everyone speaks Spanish here.
And so how easy is it for someone to move to Paraguay to get residency and all that kind of stuff?
Mm-hmm. No, very easy. You need a birth certificate, a criminal record, and a valid passport. Then
you need a criminal record. So like people
Yeah,
that
yeah,
go on
yeah.
the dark web.
You need a criminal record as a baby as you're being born.
Yeah, and it should be full. Obviously, it should be full with cases.
They don't want boring people.
Yeah.
No, 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 no.
No
If you want to
Englishmen,
come
please.
hide, then you're right.
Oh, there you go. We
I
just
think it
lost
should
half
be
our
clean.
viewership, Gordon, with me making that comment.
Oh, it just got me interested.
I think it should be a clean record. I think it
Yeah.
should be a clean record. But they're very open to people that want to move this country forward.
And it's that easy. You don't have to put in like $250,000 into a bank account or anything like that. It's just
No, no, no. When I started, I think I paid like $3,500 to my lawyer here, and they set it up. Back then, I had to pay a deposit to the local, to the state-owned bank, the central bank, right? Of I think $2,500. And until my process was finished, they kept as a deposit. Once my papers were ready, I took out the deposit, and I was a permanent resident. Now they changed it a bit. They made it a bit more difficult for getting a permanent residency the first take. Now you just get a 2-year temporary residency, with then later you extend to a permanent one when you have some history, tax history, or start a business here.
And what's the local on the ground Bitcoin adoption like? Because I know like in El Salvador, you can, everyone's got like Bitcoin Lightning set up on their Chivo wallets. What's it like there?
Well, you have an ecosystem for exchanges. There are some exchanges that exist. Certain places, coffees do accept Bitcoin as a payment, but obviously it is not an accepted like government state level payment system right now. Yes, that's it. The ecosystem is growing. There's a company called X4T. Some friends of mine come from Switzerland. They have an exchange where they have a partnership with a local bank. So if I want to pay my employees, for example, in crypto, they help me make this exchange, and the employees get paid in the local currency, and I pay in crypto. So yeah, it is moving. We're not at El Salvador level yet, but people are learning about it.
Okay. And are there many Bitcoin meetups, that kind of stuff? Do you go to those?
I think they are more for miners. You have some WhatsApp groups for miners, and they meet once a year, have a barbecue. Sometimes there are events from our company or other companies. They invite investors from foreign companies. Bitmain hosted an event recently, last year. So you have like some conferences, smaller ones, but it's starting to pop up more, yes. But not like the Bitcoin Prague or Mining Disrupt yet.
Yeah, but I mean, we have a Bitcoin Basics podcast, and I don't think Paraguay has really been on our radar. Everyone's talking about El Salvador, but it seems like things are really happening there, and things are about to explode.
That's the thing. El Salvador is more about talking, and here's about doing. You have companies like Marathon, Bitfarms. You have Northern Data here, which are already mining. So this gives you political stability and safety to come to Paraguay, to try it out for yourself, or to just enjoy the beauty that the country has to offer.
So at the moment, the government, 100% hydro. That blows my mind. The government is, they're basically supplying the electricity. Do you think they'll get to a time where the government gets involved in mining, or do you think they'll always just provide a service?
That's a great question. I'm not sure how the legal point of view is from here. I have to talk to my lawyers, but I don't think the government will ever start mining big. Maybe you have some politicians that mine on themselves, that have some machines or small facilities. But I don't think it's even allowed for the state to own a Bitcoin mining facility, because conflict of interest, and what tariffs should they have, It's not like in Abu Dhabi.
Okay. Because the government can't tax itself.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Gosh, it's fascinating. Okay.
But maybe they change the law. You never know.
Yeah, you think they'd just keep it as proof of reserve. Yeah,
It
it's funny,
could be
as Gordon
smart, you know.
said. Yeah, as Gordon said, like this is mind blowing to us, and Paraguay's just not come up on our map. Had you not reached out to us, we have no idea this was going on. Are they deliberately trying to keep it quiet, or because you get President Bukele of El Salvador tweeting about what they're doing? Why is Paraguay just not as public as what's going on there in the Bitcoin fintech ecosphere?
I think people might be a little bit scared about the jurisdiction being so far away in a Latin country, but on the other hand, you have more than 800 megawatts already running in the whole country, which is huge.
Yeah, so just give our listeners some perspective. Like a city like, Berlin, how many megawatts would that take per year? Would they use per year?
A city like Berlin, I think they use like 200, 300 megawatts. So you can say 5 times the size of Berlin just of electricity usage for miners.
Wow.
Which we're still not at the top, we're still not at the top. You have a big surplus still to be taken. Because I explained to you, right, Ferris? They are selling the electricity to Brazil at $19 a megawatt, right? 19 or 22. And for a miner that owns a substation, they're selling it at 39. So they can make double the money selling it locally and creating jobs and opportunities instead of selling it to Brazil. And what will happen, for example, in 2027, the cost of energy production will be dropped by half again, because the bilateral agreement between Brazil and Paraguay then will end as the financing of the substation finishes. Brazil financed 50% and Paraguay financed the other 50% of the construction of this Itaipu Dam. And those debts are paid off, and then the bilateral agreements will terminate. So I think we have a bright future ahead of more and bigger blocks of energy.
So that tender, sorry, you go, Gordon.
I was just going to say, it's a win-win, isn't it? Because the government is able to get more money from the domestic market, but it's still cheaper for Bitcoin mining companies to come into Paraguay as that investment grows. So yeah, perfect storm.
And it helps to grow the infrastructure, by all those millions of dollars they make through the tax. They can build a better distribution system for the local communities, for the normal Paraguayans, that sometimes during summer hours have problems with an unstable grid, because it's just not there yet, right? And we Bitcoin miners help to grow the state by paying taxes on the energy, which then can be utilized for more transformers, better lines, all those kinds of stuff.
And this is why I find it fascinating, because the obvious comparison with El Salvador is there, but that's from a political sort of top-down model. And I love what El Salvador is doing, legal tender and Bukele and stuff like that. But once he goes away or something happens, is that, sort of momentum going to continue? What's going to happen with that? Whereas Paraguay is just doing it from a business perspective. It doesn't matter whether the government likes or dislikes Bitcoin. They're making money, and you're going to attract more foreign investment. And so this might be not the El Salvador. This might be the model of the government's not really pro or anti-Bitcoin. It's just doing what it is. So other countries around the region, this might be the model for them going forward.
I think that's a great take. Yeah, they should actually look into this, offering foreign companies a way of getting preferred energy rates or tax exemptions for HPC data centers or Bitcoin mining. Because in the future, in the end, HPC AI or whatever that you want to call it will be the future. Compute power is energy, and who owns the energy controls whatever it is, state or the world.
Yeah, because I was just listening the other day that corporations are applying to set up their own nuclear power plants just to power their AI facilities. So when you look at something like this, which is already ready to go, that's wow. It's a huge opportunity.
There is huge opportunities, but the people have to take a leap. They have to try. They have to get a feeling for it first. No one throws $100 million in a country you don't know.
Mm.
But I think in emerging markets, there's big opportunities for people that are ready to take a risk and to take a chance in the unknown. Or not unknown at the end. In the end, it's a proven proof of work already.
Well, I can tell you this, Sebastian, if anyone in Paraguay is listening, they want you to be the new Minister of Tourism and Industry. You're definitely selling this to us.
Well, I'm not trying to sell. I'm very hyped about it myself.
No, I
It
can see
changed my
that. And
life for the
it's
good.
exciting. Like, yeah, me and Gordon are just like, oh, wow, how have we not heard about Paraguay before in this space?
Now we're still very small, like a small diamond, But it changed my life for the good. And I'm in a better position now where I was 5 years ago, and I think this will just continue to grow.
Wow. What else are you excited about? So other than just growth in Paraguay, what in Bitcoin itself are you excited about for the future? And I'll steal Gordon's question, what doesn't Bitcoin fix?
What doesn't Bitcoin fix? That's a great question.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, I'm waiting for the big bull run to finally happen now. There's more demand than supply from the miners. We mine 450 coins a day. I'm very excited about more governments starting to have Bitcoin ETFs, because the Australian government, I think, announced, Thailand government are ready for that, and the US government ETFs, they're huge. The inflows are crazy. This is good and bad on one side, but it gives a global adoption. So I think Bitcoin can fix a lot of things if you mine it renewable, if you're aware of also where the machines are coming from, where the energy is coming from. So Bitcoin can fix a lot of things: government, taxes, things like that, I would say.
One of the criticisms of Bitcoin mining, which you're now, well, not you personally, but Paraguay is 100% hydro renewable, boiling the oceans and killing babies and all that kind of stuff. But the other one is what to do with Bitcoin miners. So, you get a brand new S21 or whatever it's up to now, use it for a couple of years, but then it creates this e-waste. What can miners that are a little bit old and the new models come out, can they be repurposed? Can they be, I don't know, recycled? What happens to old Bitcoin miners?
Well, obviously you have a certain threshold of being profitable with all the miners, and if you cannot reach that, those miners are not profitable. Then you have the Bitcoin maximalist who absolutely doesn't care and just wants to mine Bitcoins, and that's good for him. But if you're not profitable, I think it's good to recycle those miners. You still have the chip plates, you have copper, you have the ventilators. You can recycle the whole equipment and resell it one by one. Yeah. Or sell your miners, upgrade them, and sell them to a country like Venezuela, Ethiopia, where you have even cheaper rates, and those miners are still profitable.
Okay.
Well, Sebastian, thank you very much for reaching out to me and for coming on. It's been a fascinating journey, and I'll reach out to you privately because we do want to follow up more on what's happening in Paraguay because it's really interesting. Where can our listeners follow you? Where can they follow your work? What are your socials?
Thank you, first of all, Ferris and Gordon, for the opportunity to come here and speak about Paraguay and what we do here. You're more than welcome to join us, to take a flight here and see for yourself.
I think we definitely
Regarding socials, summer's coming up in 3-4 months, so be prepared.
Bueno.
Well, I'm very active on LinkedIn under my personal name, Sebastian Vollm. We can reach me there or through our website, digital-orion.com. We always update there, and you'll find my phone number there if you want to reach out particularly. Socials, Instagram and Twitter are not private, So I'm not using that very much.
That's good. We're not on there either. Well, thank you very much, Sebastian. And we do want to keep in touch. And we'll see what else we can follow up on the ground Paraguay, because we're fascinated by what's going on there.
Thanks for watching or listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like, subscribe, and share so we can spread this educational content to others like yourself. Visit bitcoinbasics.help.
Disclaimer. Any content provided by CoinCompass is for educational and informational purposes only and is not investment, legal, tax, or any other professional advice. A qualified professional should be consulted before making any financial decisions. CoinCompass will at times recommend certain products, services, and technologies, but these are opinions based upon our own or podcast guests' experience and not endorsements. We take no liability for out-of-date or inaccurate information, software bugs, manufacturing errors, technology misuse, or issues involving third parties. Visit coincompass.com for more information and please contact us.